Hey folks, Dude here, coming at you of all things, coming to you on, Thursday, July 13th, and it's going to be another episode of, Knife Blog. Oh man, we're talking about another episode of Knife Blog. Now you guys know I'm a huge, ridiculously huge fan of, Swiss Army knives, and, I've always got at least a few on my desk. There's a couple more floating around here somewhere, but, one of the ones I've taken to heart and I've rather liked is the 111 lock blade version, which is, this one is 109 millimeters. This one is 111 millimeters. Of course, the case, actually, I think it's more than that. I think it's actually about a centimeter longer. This might be 90 millimeters. This might be 109, 111. I forget how it is. I know there's like 4 distinct sizes of Swiss Army knives, but the biggest thing you get from this is quite literally you get more blade. I mean, this one is one of the largest ones. They actually refer to them as plates, or how many different grooves of tools there are. And you can see from sheer size, the lock blade is actually about 2/3 the size of 90 millimeter, whatever it is. It's about 2/3 of the blade configuration. This one has more of a steeper drop on the clip point, or spear point as it were. And by and large, I've found nothing but awesome service with these guys. Now, the other thing, too, is also with these guys, you get other additional tools. This one, of course, being pretty much a field knife. You also have a rather large gutting hook, so you can actually use it to dress out your animals without poking through the perineum and letting out all the guts. It does actually have a rather large saw blade on board, and it is a very good saw. I've buzzed through 2x4s, pine 2x4s, and really freaked people out. Very, very effective piece of kit. It does actually have, on this particular version, it does have a standard bottle opener, screwdriver, wire stripper. You see the little groove in there. That's actually a wire stripper. Conversely, on the other side, you have your smaller screwdriver and you have your can opener. These work, man. Okay, I've opened up number 10 cans. Those big honking cans like they use in restaurants. These are a very effective piece of kit. Now, also conversely, this one is not a liner lock. It actually does have a button on the side. It is actually not ridiculously substantial lockup, but it's good enough to not close on your hands when using it. It's better than a slip joint in any case, but it is a true lock blade. There's also, of course, the dreaded corkscrew of doom, because the Swiss Army knife is feared because of their corkscrews, and it does also have the awl, AWL, which is also with a small hole, so in worst case scenario you could use it as a sewing needle. I believe this one is known jokingly as the Fireman, and of course it has the toothpick, and it's got the tweezers, and it's a very good piece of all-in-one. There is one that's actually much bigger than this. I think it's like a 6 or 7 plate, and it's ridiculous. It's got like about most of the tools on this, but it's the lock blade body, so everything is bigger. Now, I did actually happen to, and I'm going to show you guys the business card. I'm using a new piece of technology now for running my camera. I'm using a web page program download from a company called MyCam, so hopefully this one kind of works. The company I actually went to is a place called Jekyll and Hyde, and this is on my trip when I went up to Maine. They're in Bar Harbor, Maine. Street address being 7070 Main Street, Bar Harbor, Maine, 04609. Shop phone number is going to be 207-288-3084. Now, I actually happened to stop in there, and let me tell you, there was literally, they say 40 feet of knives. They ain't kidding. Like, whole one side of the store is nothing but knives. Some production, some semi-custom, but mostly production knives, and they did actually have a good stockpile of the Swiss Army products. Now, the kicker is, I thought this was hilarious, but I don't know if this is really going to show up so well, but it says, you bleed on it, you buy it. Now, I'm actually still learning this program, so I really don't know it as well as I probably should. But, you know what? It's also a case of just playing with it and learning it. So basically what this says is, you bleed on it, you buy it. Thanks, Jekyll and Hyde. Just called them earlier, told them I'm going to be featuring them in the video that I'm now currently shooting. So going on from there, let's see what we got, okay? So what I did is from them, I purchased what is known as the Rescue. So the Victorinox Rescue. Now, you got to be careful because there is fakes out there, and you have to pay attention to some details, and they're pretty obvious details if they're fake or not. Most obvious is going to be just pretty much construction quality, what have you. Of course, you have the little card of all the, the good stuff there. You have all the instructions in about 15 bazillion different languages. And this one is actually intended as a EMT/rescue knife. Now, what does it actually do? Well, it is very positive. Yeah, it's got Velcro. It is very, very, very yellow. It does have a lanyard on board, but the lanyard, really truthfully can be said, it's pretty much just only useful for getting the knife out of the sheath. Now, here's one of the tells to tell if it's good or not, or if it's fake or not fake. But the real one, hopefully that kind of shows, it's going to be a leather interior. See that? It's got texture and everything. That's actual leather, okay? So if it's leather, that is the real deal. Also, the Chinese one is chintzy. It's smaller. It's not made half as good. This one's got rivets on the bottom. It is very, very nicely constructed. Also, with this kind of a color scheme of like bright red and bright green, yellow, wow, you are not going to miss it. I'm going to give you guys another tell to tell if it is a copycat, counterfeit, or a real one. Number 2, the hole in the one-handed blade opening hole is going to be an oval. It's not going to be like this rectangular thing. The blade configuration is going to look like, Swiss Army. It's going to look like Victorinox. Also, yeah, that little mark right there, that says Victorinox. Okay, so what is on board this thing to compare it to this thing, which is pretty much what it's kind of based on? Well, first and foremost, this is an Einhander, or a one-handed knife. So you do actually have the one-handed hole, so you can open it one-handed. I don't know if it works so well with gloves, but it is actually a one-handed knife. Of that, it is a liner lock. Very, very, very positive, okay? The point is not quite as ridiculously pointed as the civilian version, so I guess they want to have this as a secondary way to get underneath the seat belts, get everybody out. But actually, it showed this thing too, is there's a demonstration video, I'm going to put the link in, where they show people getting extracted in vehicles using this tools, and I'll go through the tools in the process of telling you guys about it. Obviously, it does say Swiss Army, obviously it does say Swiss Army Rescue Tool, and there's nothing on the other side, but you can't miss these green, brilliant neon scales. So that's just the way this thing works. What do you get off the bat? Well, you get this big, good size, serrated, I'm not going to say it's a great serration, but it is serrated. So it is a serrated blade, mirror polish, and it is a liner lock. So you're not going to close the blade unless you push the liner over, and then the blade releases. Now, from front to back, you actually have that big knife there. This right here, this is a Cruciform Point, so basically 4 points going into like a mini pyramid glass breaker. Now, the kicker is this thing is actually replaceable. What you do is you grab with a pair of pliers and pop it right out of the knife, plug a new one in. Replaceable part, that is cool. So literally you can walk up to a windshield, you can walk up to side glass, you are in the car. And the other thing too, what's kind of cool about it is you know for a fact, even in the dark, lanyard flipping on this side, glass breaker on that side. Can't help but get them out that way. What else is on board? It also has a Phillips screwdriver. It also has the awl. So that's on board, but notice it does not have the hole. So it is not one of the ones made for sewing. It does, of course, have the tweezers. It does, of course, have the toothpick. Because you never know, you're working an accident scene. You might want to eat something and clean up afterwards. You might have a loose hair or something, or a splinter or something. Got to extract that. This one, for this screwdriver, well, I'm going to show you guys comparatively what we got here. First off, this is a civilian version, okay? It's a little bit smaller. This one, yeah, it sounded different when it went in place. Here, take a listen. Yeah, it definitely sounds different. That's because this one is a slip joint, and this one actually is a liner lock style. Okay, so essentially you have a slip joint on the civilian version, and you have a locking screwdriver on the EMT version. Why? So that way you can actually pry a windshield out, and it's not going to close on your fingers or anything that's locked up. We do actually have the one blade there. You also have, yes, this one very similar to the gutting hook. Yeah, what do you guys think this feature would be for? Well, let's just take a hard look at it. Okay, obviously this one is, it's not really sharp, but it might be a little bit, kind of, maybe not the best to slip under. Right, this one is a seat belt cutter. So it actually does have a very, very not going to poke you, not going to hurt you, definitely going to slip under the belt. And this is sharp. Trust me on that one. This one is a serious seat belt cutter. Another unusual feature. If you open this blade up to this point and you knock it against something hard, this blade right here is replaceable. This one here, because it's replaceable, might tell you something. Notice, though, it is a very, very aggressive style of saw blade. Let me compare it to the other blade. You guys can see what I'm talking about here. This one is a double cut. So literally they basically cut like 2 lines of teeth that make little triangle points versus this one, which is just big honking teeth cut straight across. And that's not black, okay? That's shiny. So literally what this one is, if you look at the demonstration video, what you see dude doing is first things first is he's got this blade closed. He walks up to the car and goes stick, 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 stick. 6 good strikes in the windshield, and then plunges this in and starts cutting the windshield with this blade. So literally this one is a laminated glass cutter blade. That's replaceable. So literally what it is you get it down to about, I think in the instruction manual said like just about this point, you just kind of really just rack on it and it just slips out of the knife and you just slip another one in. So this one is replaceable. It's made to be a wear and tear item to get people extracted out of the vehicle. Now, I'm going to post a link to the video. If I try to post it up here, you know, of course, it's going to be that stupid copyright thing from, you know, YouTube and the way that stuff works. So you got to be really careful when you actually source other people's information. But this one here, this one's kind of cool. So guys, I'm going to break off on this one, but you know what? This here is going to be the Swiss Army rescue tool, and really cool piece of kit I committed to. Not cheap, not easily encountered. Shipped down to me after I got back from my cruise. I said, you know, I'm going to be back home on this day, wait until this day to ship it out. And we basically went back and forth a little bit, and that was all the cool stuff there. But you know what? I like to support brick and block organizations, and these guys actually had a knife store in another state, and usually I make it a point to buy something cool when I'm on vacation. This was the something cool that I bought. You know what? I'm a happy camper, and I got myself a very cool, unique, and very unusual Swiss Army knife with a sheath. Now, do the math, folks. Most times you buy a Swiss Army knife with the sheath. Cha-ching. This one for $100 and change, shipped to me. I'm a happy camper. So, folks, I'm going to break up with this one. Eco Kim Thundering is always, you know it, you love it. Oh, knife goodness. Yeah, knife goodness. Knife blog from the Swiss Army Knife Rescue Tool. See you guys, have a good one. And Eco Kim Thundering is always, you know it, you love it. And, well, with a potentially life-saving device, can anything but good? Yeah, it can be. Better times. See you guys.